We'll see what by the end. Recording in progress. There we go. Number 4, chapter 4, the structure of compliance. Now, we're going to get into this in quite a big chunk in the workshop for obvious reasons. Why on earth do people comply? Okay? And the number one reason, as we point out there, is fear. If you're scared enough, people don't comply because it's a good idea. They comply because they're terrified. So, where do you learn to be scared? And it comes with, that wasn't me talking to Jenny. That was the whole point of your first command when you're a child. As you're wandering to a socket or the fire to put your hand in, your parent will go, ah. The first time, verbal assault by your parent, your system goes, oh. And that little spider or worm that you're busy sucking on or about to eat suddenly becomes the object of your fear. So it happens so simply. But all these years later, that's all forgotten about. All you have is that panic, that, yeah. By the way, I pulled the shirt out the wardrobe, I have to tell you, right? It used to be a really well-fitted shirt. I loved it, right? It belonged to a fat lad, obviously. When I put it on, I thought, who the heck has been wearing this shirt? That git. Right? Anyway, so that's working as well. And we're going to, since it's January, we're going to get into how do people manage to make themselves so big, and how can we go about adjusting it so that they can be smaller? So we've got a few, and this was a discussion this morning at lunch, well, around lunchtime when we got down to the coffee shop. We had a chat about that, and we'll open it up in 3 weeks' time. Aha, right. So what did we want to talk about? Anybody got any ideas? Chris? Oh, I thought you took a course this evening, Chris. They cancelled.
Christmas holiday.
Christmas holiday? What? Oh, by the way, we're not here next week. We're on holiday.
Good.
Yeah. And you can blame Nick Wood because Nick mentioned Egypt and I thought, ooh, so we're off to Egypt. So we'll be back in a few weeks. But we'll pop in the group. We'll tell you when we're back. Just not next week or the week after, probably not. But there we go. Structure of compliance. What do you want to know? Why? Right? Especially, obviously, if you've read the book now, you'll realize the angle we're looking at is the emphasis of a dysfunctional parental relationship. So if we look at the dysfunctional relationship that our governments have had with us over the last 3 years, and the good news is it doesn't actually matter which country you're watching us from this evening. It's the same dysfunctional government coming up with crazy rules and scaring the bejesus out of us so that we comply. Yeah. Unfortunately for me, I was born deaf, so none of those rules ever counted. Yeah. Never did when I was a kid neither, so it was kind of handy. Right. So, but they're continuing to push these agendas because, and this is an important piece, is when we change a part of us, when a belief changes or something, when that shift happens, if you ask that person the next day about that belief, they'll look at you like, what are you talking about? I've always been this way. I've always liked fish. No, but you haven't. No. Remember, yesterday you were, oh, no. And then if you revisit them in a month or 2 months, their whole self changes when you shift things around. Because in order for you to be you, the rest of the universe has to be not you. Now, so if you go on one of the courses and you shift, and you think, da, 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 this is the rest of my life, this is who I'm going to be, I love me, and off you go. So you come on the course, you meet these people, and suddenly you've transformed and you want this new life that you've molded into. Yeah. Then you go home. And those loved ones who, they'll definitely support you. As soon as you come home, they're pushing the buttons and wondering what the heck has happened because the remote doesn't seem to be working on you. And then even your dog, and we've actually had that, where even the dog shuts down and ignores you. All of that is resistance to try and get you to. The thing is, I'm watching your faces as these words are hitting, so it's funnier for me, but how I keep a straight face, I'll never know. So even the dog will turn its back on you until you begin to conform again. Now, not that this applies to any of you guys, yeah, but it gets you thinking. If that compliance goes in early enough, what happens is as soon as it goes in, your system deletes it. So it's in, but now you're complying without actually knowing why you comply. All you know is you just do. And for me, that's the scariest thing that's happened in the last 3 years, is they've turned up the heat, terrified the bejesus out of the masses, so the masses complied. But now the problem is the masses are walking around and they all have these, not mobile phones, emotional memory images implanted by the establishment. But you're not going to be consciously aware of it. So many of your clients, of your coaches, many of your clients are going to have all number of different complaints, but they're not going to associate any of it with the fact that they're subconsciously in a compliance mode. Is that making sense? If you follow emotional memory images, very early on in the pandemic, our government continued to use one word over and over again. Check with the translation guys, but in the UK, the word was novel. The word was unprecedented. Oh, it's unprecedented. It's unprecedented. They said unprecedented so many times, I actually Googled it to make sure I knew what it meant, because I thought maybe it's changed. But they spent months explaining it was unprecedented. Now, if you look at the definition of an emotional memory image, you'll see that an emotional memory image can only be created in an unprecedented event or situation. That's why when we're children, everything's unprecedented. It's all new. So it's very easy as a child to get a phobia, to find yourself complying with stuff. Because all your mom or dad has to do is go, freeze. Yeah. But as you're getting older, like a few months later, you've got a little bit more experience in the living room. So when you're heading towards the fire, next time your mom or your dad will go, Now you'll notice there's a huge difference between and . And that difference is your parent reminding you, we've been here before. Like it? Now, you haven't even got language yet, but you're learning the difference between away from and toward. And you're learning the difference between stop, start, and you've begun a system or a process. If you survive that, within a week or two, you'll be coming down that same piece of carpet. You'll be looking at your mum or your dad. When you give them that look that says, is it okay? Bearing in mind, you still haven't got language yet. And your mum or dad will do this. You ready? Ah, ah, ah. Ah, ah, ah. Now I'll do that numerically for you. Ah, ah, ah. 1, 2, 3. So now you're learning other meta programs. Are you with me? Options are kicking in, and you're learning a 3 times convincer. Wow, but you still haven't got words. Now, all of this is happening subconsciously. But as an adult, say you're 40 years old and you live in, say, I don't know, the UK, for example, and it's November, December. Well, you probably find that it's flu season. Now, flu you probably haven't heard of, yeah, because it's been around for centuries, but actually it's now out of fashion. It doesn't actually happen anymore. But up until 2020, it did. But in 2018, the flu killed thousands of people in the UK. I mean, it was off the chart. I mean, the NHS almost closed, but they survived. Wow, amazing. Now, if you'd been told there's a bad flu coming, what would you have done? Nothing. So our governments, knowing how to install emotional memory images, knew they had to get you to believe this was novel, never happened before. Never happened before. So that your subconscious, primitive, childlike mind would open up the doorway to allow them to imprint emotional memory images. Brand new. That's how you do it in adults. Fascinating, isn't it? Now, I think I went down a track. I'll now wander back up again. What weren't we talking about? Compliance. So are you getting the idea now? So that's how you do it en masse. It has to be something brand new. And you can imagine how new it was too. I mean, most of you are sitting watching this, which is brilliant, because in 2021, you could sit in a restaurant and survive this. But if you stood up, it would have you. I mean, what a virus. It only functioned above 3'6". And wow. And it stopped at borders. This is such a wonderful, wonderful virus. I mean, nay, the wonder was unprecedented. It stopped the border controls and everything. Anyway, are you getting the general idea? Does anybody actually read my book all the way to the end yet? Yeah, that was the idea of these, you see. So I'd get you to read it and realize, bloody hell, it was done to us. It was being done to us. And all they did was target emotions. There was zero science, as we're finding out now. But if any of you knew a very good hypnotist in around 2020, you'd have probably thought, that hypnotist seems to be talking sense, or the unprecedented program had hit you, and you thought that hypnotist was a psychopath who would get you all killed. Well, here we are. No jabs allowed. I mean, jabs, obviously jabbing, conversational jabs. That's it. So where are we? Any questions thus far? No, nibble them nuts. Right. By the way, Nick, in case you missed it, we're off to Egypt next week. Yeah. I was taking some snorkels as well, might as well. Right then. Something else, anything we want to chat about? The stage is yours. We're working our way through 4 patterns of disease. Yeah, we still practice them. Yes. Because what I found was, if you're going to go internal and start chatting to yourself, you'll find, yeah, because you're not supposed to go in there. You're supposed to be out, playing, having fun. Yeah, your mum and dad, go out and play. Go out and play. So if you're spending too much time on the inside, yeah, find a friend, find someone to hang with. We've just found a new church down by us. Yeah. It's called Witherspoons. Yeah. And I mean, they have the heating on. Yeah. And you can get a coffee for like £1.50, and you can have this all day long coffee for £1.50. It's amazing. You know, lots of pensioners and that in there, you know, and the priest. Yeah, but the priest obviously is non-coffee. But there we go. Lots to think about. The 4 patterns of disease. I'm whizzing through here as we go. So, deletion filter. It's not in this one, but I thought I'd mention it because we're getting well into deletion filters on the 3 days. Didn't have time last time out, but this time we sort of adjusted the training, which is new to you because you weren't there, so it doesn't matter. So we've adjusted to get more deletion filter in. Now, the deletion filter, as you well know, is one of those pieces that, you know, I specialize in, because at the moment you delete something, it's gone. So, you know, if you're chatting to someone and they say, yeah, I know. And then in the next moment, you see them doing the very thing that they just agreed that they wouldn't do. And they say, no, shit, I know I'm doing it now, but I never ever, I mean, it's the first time. Yeah. The deletion filter. So we're going to unpick that. So while you guys are present, we're going to unpick your deletion filters so that you can actually get more insight into those areas where emotional memory images kick in and fog those pieces of information. Interesting. So if you've got any dis-ease, make sure you bring it along. Yeah. Oh, we've got, I'm just looking at that, eh? We've got a lot of hope going on this evening. Pun intended. Sorry, Mimi. Right then, next. I was just wondering, does Mimi get an email? I'm looking here unless one of you wants to speak. Aces, pyramids. No comments on aces. Adverse childhood experiences. Oh. Yeah, oh well. Any comments at all? Obviously, because that is the one where I introduce the emperor has no clothes. And that's, again, getting into that deletion filter. Because when the dysfunctional parent speaks, everybody complies. Now, the only one that doesn't comply is the one that's not attached to the system at all. Because if your relationship is based on that connection, you have to hold your tongue. You see what I mean? And that's why children are brilliant, because they'll say what they see. The problem is, as they grow older, those filters start kicking in. You know what I mean? Maybe the first time they got away with it, but if mum or dad heard, there'll have been that look or that, you know what I mean? Or the silence that will train them to comply. Amanda has a raised hand. You.
So in order for someone to behave like as a your dot as an adult, in because you can be different people in sort of different
Context. Yeah.
in different contexts. Does there have to have been a nomai in the childhood, in the upbringing, in order for it to trigger it, or
you'd anticipate seeing a dysfunctional family piece, yeah? And you're going to love this because I haven't quite drawn it yet, but we've got to send the stuff off to the printers this week to make sure we've got everything in before go in. So at some point tomorrow, I'm going to have an exercise which is still hatching in my head, but the exercise is going to really draw that piece out, because I want it, it's a work in progress at the moment, but at the moment what I'm looking at is, if you look at your mum, your dad, yeah, and remember last time we were looking at positioning the family, how you're firstborn, secondborn, thirdborn, etc., or only child, or you know what I mean. So I'm going to have a look at that, but also I want to then look at what level of identity did your parents reach or your relatives reach? You see what I mean? Yeah, you might have parents, but did they reach mother and father, or did they go on to reach man and woman? Because if they didn't reach man and woman identity, they gave up their sovereignty. And if they never had their sovereignty, you wouldn't have learned that there was a next step. That's where you have that itch, and you know there must be more. But that's those steps were missing. So it's an exercise, Amanda. It's a work in progress, but by tomorrow it's got to hit the page because we're going to go off the printers with it. So I'm quite excited because it's really fresh off the press. But we're looking at, it's going to, at least like smiling away there, because we've been working on it for a couple of months, this one. It's exciting because we're going to sort of have you look at your family tree, as it were, but from as far as you can see, remember, it usually misses a generation too. So if you're there thinking about your mum and dad, that's wonderful. But have a look at the next generation, your grandparents, and have a look there. You see what I mean? And so that's what I'll be teasing out, Amanda, if that helps. And it's obviously done something because Jenny's put her hand up now. Did that help, Amanda? Is that sort of answering a little bit?
Yeah, no, that was interesting actually, talking about the grandparents. Yeah.
I watched that little access you did there, and I thought, oh, it was interesting. Yeah, and the grandparent has an input on that one of yours. Eh? It's interesting. We will look at that. Yes, what's his hand up, Jenny? This is another way of putting your hand up if you can't find where the buttons are.
I don't know where the button is. Yeah, can't find it. See that alert again, programming to put your hand up. Anyway, so with the sovereignty thing, so what if you've got 3 kids, can two of them say like, oh, there must be more to this, but the other one doesn't even look for it and is like, no, this is all there is and this is where we should stay.
Yeah.
Even with the same parents.
Yeah. So see Adam, random. See, you had 2 daughters and a son. Yeah.
Yeah.
For example, right? So you might find the 2 daughters are curious and wanting to go explore.
Yeah.
And the son just, for some reason, no matter how much you open the door and had him see the world, he just seems to want to be like his dad.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
Yeah, ever slightly, yeah. Funnily. It's off.
Hey.
Oh, I'm so
Hey.
looking forward to this.
Oh,
No.
bring a sick bag. I love it.
I was worrying about that the other day.
Oh, shop, you'll be fine.
Good.
Can't wait till we open that one up. Right now, Jenny, that's a gun to mute. This is the fun part, isn't it? Because you get to do this very safely. Yeah. And all you have to do is push mute or silence, and I'm out of your life. How cool. Right. So any more questions on that one? Now, Jeanette, you're doing a lot of processing. What are you up to?
I was thinking about
I thought you were.
quite a lot of thinking, yeah. How you stop the deletion, because if there's deletion, I'm suspecting from grandparents, parents to you as the child, how do you break that?
Who keeps to who continually hands down the nothing? How's the nothing passed on? Yeah. I mean, no, seriously, that's one of the questions that drives me. I mean, we should have had a paper published before Christmas. We had another one, but this particular one, right? And it's sitting there. And I've just had a text just then, and I've got a psychiatrist co-authoring and another professor from Pakistan that they're co-authors, right? We know our game. And because the title happens to be Folly on Society, right? And we're pointing to what's gone on, right? The pushback on this paper is just not right. They're pushing back for all of the wrong reasons, none of them scientific. And so we've had to rejig everything, and we're going to send it back over the wire and see if they accept it. But it's so exciting too, when you realize, wow, how does anything get done when now the top 30 academic journals, that's where you publish in and you send it out for your peers to review, etc., they're all owned by Big Pharma. It's like, wow. So there hasn't been any genuine, legitimate research done for years. And that was called out in 2018 by the BMJ, as British Medical Journal. They said, wow, it's all corrupt. It's fascinating, isn't it? So we'll see where that goes. And if it doesn't get published, we'll push somewhere else. And failing that, I'll put it on ResearchGate as a pre-publication. So you can have a read of it if you want. Yeah. Well, it's fascinating just to look at how do we get the challenge if we're shunned if we mention it, but if we can't mention it, how on earth are we ever going to talk about it? You know what I mean? It's like 12 months ago, everybody wanted to know if I'd had an injection or 2 or 3 or 6 or whatever it was at the time. Yeah. Now, here's my nephew's just died suddenly. Bless him. Now, are we allowed to ask those questions? Guess what? No. And we all, you can't ask those questions. Why? Well, they're personal. 12 months ago, you wanted me inside leg measurement. And that was just to go to Tesco's to buy a bottle of milk. But now, now, yeah, we're probably allowed to go do our own research again now. But we haven't been allowed to research anything for 3 years because we probably read the wrong stuff. Become, misinformed. Heaven forbid. I hope you come on here to get cheered up. So, yes, I'm just finishing that one and I'll be with you, Penelope. So the point being, Jeanette, is that's the fantastic. Bear in mind, all of the money has been pushed into looking at how human beings respond to fear. Yeah. Hundreds of years have gone in to figuring out what makes us comply. Yeah. And they know fear does it. But when you get into the intricacies of this, if you have a look at how we've defined an emotional memory image, the definition is key here. It has to be novel. It has to be a first time event. You see what I mean? It has to be a first time event. Otherwise, if you have prior knowledge, your system will not go and create that emotional memory image. It can't happen. You see what I mean? Now, when you take that in, you think, wow, that's why that propaganda machine works the way it does. Repetition, 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 repetition. They keep shoving it in your face. And so long as you keep stepping up and watching it, eventually your system just goes bzz. Because the other piece is time. We're time beings. But if they keep repeating, 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 over time, our system begins to wane because it costs energy. Yeah. So unplug as often as you can, barefoot, have a walk up and down the garden. If you haven't got a garden, find a clump of grass somewhere or a piece of sand, you know, that's not obviously in a builder's yard, and just unplug. Yeah, and that's why I enjoyed this, because it's a little bit of connection for us, yeah, to actually have you realize, you know, the world is crazy, yeah, and eventually even the lunatics start to look sensible. Right, Penelope, is that all right, Jeanette? Does that make sort of sense? We'll open it up more when I see you next. So,
my question is, can unprecedented as a sort of a precursor to new experience ever be used in a positive way to create positive?
oh yeah, of course, yeah, because music was my first love, and first love will never ever die. Right, first loves. There you go. Boom. And that, I mean, if you think with first loves, they're unprecedented. Like, oh, yeah, all wonderful. Yeah. The only problem is if it turns out to be a shit, and you've got this wonderful, wonderful, wonderful stuck on there. There's Jenny. I'm pleased your volume's not on. Right? But can you imagine if your heart goes, wow, he's amazing, right? And he turns out to be a shit, you're stuck in amazing. So there's all of your friends saying, oh, God, he's a shit. And you're like, no, he's wonderful. And if your friends call him out, you shut your friends off. You see what I mean? So it's a positive for you, but it's not necessarily positive, if you see what I mean. And cheesecake is another example. If you've never had cheesecake before, and then you had cheesecake, and cheesecake is boing, it's a positive. So it's interesting. This is a piece I'd probably share with any of you that work with addicts. Because if you're working with addiction, this is exactly how addiction works. So whatever the stimulus is, it's in positive mode. Although the problem is, you know, that it's like, oh, got it. It drives them, but obviously it's harmful to them. But another positive one could be career. Yeah, so a lot of entrepreneurs have these, but dying, yeah. Oh, I'm off to Mars. Yeah. So they have that, and it wakes them up early in the morning, gets them to put in the numbers, put in the hours. So you see what I mean? It really is, how is it driving you? And If it's driving you and you're healthy, you're fit, you're well, and everything's going well, brilliant, leave it there. If not, it might need to be removed, replaced, reduced. But if you put them on as an accelerator, they're brilliant. Because if we take weight loss, for instance, since January, in order to put the size on, you have to have a negative. Does that make sense? So the negative will be threat. So you're in threat, so you'll put on size. And we usually find that if you're a softer personality, yeah, if you're more external than internal, if you're less likely to say, yeah, you're more likely to lean towards a donut. Because remember, the amygdala is driven subconsciously. So this little mind thinks, if I'm bigger, this isn't a conscious thought, it's a primitive system. If you're bigger, then you appear more threatening. So there's less likelihood of you being attacked, or you see what I mean? But you have to really think like an animal here, not as an adult human being, but as with the primitive system. So then if we clear that first, we have to replace it with a positive, which would then shift the chemical towards, so that's where I'm heading. And that's how, well, take yourself, Penelope, or maybe, or Nick, when we're looking at size, Chris too, yeah, when I'm looking at size, you guys don't do fat. You see what I mean? You don't do it. Now, I challenge you to turn up and be fat in front of me, but you know, that's right, quick access. You know, you haven't got that system. You just said, boing. You see, you have a natural restraint on size and shape. Now, I made a study of that about 20 years ago. So it's fascinating. But you guys can make a meal out of the sesame seeds on the top of a McDonald's bun. I mean, we've just gone, and the milkshake, and you're still there with the first sesame seed, for the love of Jesus. And if there's too many sesame seeds on top of the bun, it's too much. As Lisa said this evening, as I made this lovely big tea, and I thought the plate was bigger. Yeah, because it's just too much on there. Should take the bit, turn it off a little bit to make it smaller, so the visuals in the house go, it looks wonderful. Now I can eat it. Yeah, I wouldn't care. Still went Gravy Mountain on the top. Unbelievable. Anyway, we're back again. Did that make sense at all, Penelope? Did we get that idea? So again, motivated people, wonderful. But just because somebody's got bigger and bigger doesn't make that they're not motivated. They're motivated to get bigger and bigger. Fascinating. And that brings us into a song, the lyrics of which would be, keep on running. Keep on running. Yeah, because the more, we chat this morning as well, the more comfortable you are, or the more you aim to have a comfortable life, the worse your life will get for you. That's correct, Jenny. We're not designed for comfort. We're designed, we're designed to run. We're designed to fight. We're designed to play, to hug, to experience life. The more you aim for comfort, the worse your life will be. Yeah, you have to be prepared to fight, to rise, to challenge. And the more you attempt to hide away, yeah, the more you miss the gym. Oh, go on then. Oh, go on. One more packet won't hurt. The more you aim for comfort, the more uncomfortable your life will be for you. Yeah, I promise you. And you'll have heard me say it. Before you get too comfortable, make yourself uncomfortable. Yeah. I'm just, Gina, you got a wonderful look on your face. Yeah, it makes sense. You say, oh God, I thought I was going to change my life and have a wonderful, you will, but don't expect a comfortable one. Because if you're attempting to make it comfortable, then you'll fall asleep at the wheel. And the next time you look up, 10 years will have gone. And you wonder how on earth you got to where you're at. So really put in the effort. Yeah. Aim to be a very smart 100-year-old. If you get there and you supersede that, you go past that, that's wonderful. If you just fall short, but you've lived every moment, that's wonderful. You see what I mean? Put in that effort, but you've got to put a bit in every day.
I'm laughing at that because I've just got visions of everyone running out looking for drama. And I think if we think of it as in growth, being uncomfortable, as opposed to creating drama, it might be a little bit softer.
Yeah. Did you all hear that? They're laughing. Can you hear that from just the other side of the room? People with hearing. Good. Yeah, Jenny, what? You after tapping? Yeah.
But then it would be boring.
You can create drama.
Yeah. Drama. Right, I'll tell you what. It doesn't need to be about drama, obviously.
No.
It's just about yourself. You know, if you I can't be bothered to walk. Why don't I just dial in? Then when I get to half a ton, they might just shift me carcass to a hospital and feed me by intravenous. Or honestly, I used to do fat fighter workshops. I loved them, called Go Off, Get Rid of Fat Forever. Right. And once a week, all of these, there was no men, but there you go. There were just all of these ladies would come along and would be on the second floor at the Life Centre in Newcastle upon Tyne, the second floor. And I remember one week they come in and said, ladies, I said, there's an announcement I have to make. You probably didn't get this on the way in, but I just picked it up on the radio there. I said, and what they've said is that if you guys put on any more weight this week, there's a possibility of the planet falling out of the solar system. I said, and we've had a note in from security because they've had the engineers in. And next week, we're going to have to be on the ground floor. I said, because structurally, we're not insured. Right now, right? They used to laugh, right? People say, I can't believe you say the things you say to these people. But the reason, that's true now, you please you're on silence, right? And the reason we say it, right, is because these people were bad-mouthing themselves every day. So if I bad-mouthed them, they would laugh. And what happened was that laughter would break those mechanisms. And these women just shedded their weight. They got rid of fat. But they got rid of it because we made fun. You see what I mean? And we designed new goals, new ways of being. And I think that's one of the messages we'll probably get into, you know, on the workshop when we're together. Now, any questions? Yes, no drama. Well done. I got some people, man. You know who they are. Hey, go got to have my fix. Right? There's something, I mean, how many of you know someone, right, who can't go 2 days without a drink? What do you think? This time of year, 2 days, got to have a drink. Yeah, a few nods. Yeah. So, because all that happens is that little addiction comes in. But back to where I was, Jenny. Sorry, running. They're running away, bless you. They're running away from. Does that make sense? They're running. So alcohol makes the screen hazy. Yeah? So if you are running, the best way to prevent that is actually having time with you, having time with yourself. Now, for many people, that's absolutely terrifying. So instead, they choose to have a drink. That sounds mad, doesn't it? But for some people, it'll be alcohol. For some people, it'll be donuts. And for others, it'll be both. Yeah, that's right. Chocolate, Jenny. Right? Yeah. And you kid on, you say, oh, well, it's my little, well, yeah, it might have been your little vice, but have a look in the mirror next time you're passing and ask yourself, how little was that piece of chocolate now? You see what I mean? And don't ask any of your relatives if your ass looks big, because they're in on it. Everybody's in a delusion. Yes, Chris. So I thought I just saw miles away. Yeah. So I'm chatting to Lisa today on all of this as a subject, right? And she looks off like this. Seriously, she looks actually. And I'm waiting. That's right. Oh, I'm going to tell them. And I'm watching these non-verbals. I thought this is going to be profound, right? And then she looked back at me. I said, so what was that? She said, oh, when we're going to have dinner? When are we going to have lunch? I wonder what we're going to have. That was it. I'm waiting for, seriously, we're chatting this. And she just went off in the distance there like that. And I could see her building something. And you really, you know, and she looked back at me, what was that? What we're gonna have for lunch? Crack me up. Can you hear that howling in the background? That's just
What did you have?
unbelievable. What did we have? What? She can't even remember now. I can't, because I didn't have any. Right? Egg on that sour seeded sourdough thing, little piece of that done. She was hungry. Eh? Some of us manage that once a day. Others need to have a little bit more. She's like that. Right? So, questions. Away, come on. Honey, come on here for you to ask me questions. Yes. Mimi, shoot.
Matt, from what I've understood, the reverse can also happen where from fight or flight, you can make yourself smaller. So you're talking about the eating thing to make yourself bigger, to make predators afraid of you. And then in the reverse, what's happening?
To hide. Yeah. Make yourself small. Yeah. Because if you go small, right? Now there's an extra piece to build in here. If you go small, you might think, I'll be small enough so they won't see me. Yeah. Invisible. Annie Lennox. Yeah. So make yourself what? Alison Moyer. There you go. I'll just keep you on your toes. Right. And so that just proves you're listening, doesn't it? Right. Alison or Annie on, but you know, at least there is. So if you make yourself small enough, then they won't see you. Yeah. However, here's an X piece. Are you ready? There's another piece with small, isn't there? With smallness comes vulnerability. So if you're not big enough to say, I'm vulnerable, I need help, I'd like a hand, your system can then shrink you down so that you appear vulnerable, so that your nearest and dearest come in to create the crowd. So it's a way of putting up the white flag and saying help without having to ask. There's a few therapists in the room tonight. I don't know who wanted to speak next. Jenny, were you about to speak, or just joking there? Are you?
Just joking. No, that makes sense. That does make sense.
You see, and
Yeah.
people miss the vulnerability piece. You know, if I can't ask, because if I ask, it'll make me look weak. So
But
therefore,
also, if you ask, you can get punished.
and all of you see what I mean. But your system can then spin that and say, if I am weak, then I won't have to ask.
Yeah. But my friend's gone the other way. Her husband died when she was 32, and she's got bigger and bigger and bigger, and has tried everything to lose the weight, and then eventually broke down and said, the bigger she is, the less attractive she is, so the less chance of her getting her heart broke again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is just so sad, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, see, now, if she was a client of mine, I'd start to laugh. See what I mean? You know where I'd go with that one. I'd just start to laugh and say, oh, you crazy lunatic. I mean, the thing is, have you been to Specsavers? You're an ugly fucking bitch. The chances of you ever landing another man, I mean, geez, come on, be honest. Right? I mean, unless you're going to start dating a blind guy, yeah, who only has thumbs, I mean, so you cannot really figure out what the heck you look like. I mean, come on. I've dated elephants' horses that look better than you, pet. Now,
Yeah.
yes, I have done that. Yeah.
I believe you, yeah.
But the reason being that you're causing, by approaching it like that, it causes their reality to tumble.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? But because I'm able to go into that and really disrupt the whole piece and tear it down, whereas others, friends, best friends, will pussyfoot around and never, ever call out the problem.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? So, oh, well, you know, I thought because that way I'd never fall in love again. Never fall in love again. Pet, falling in love is up to you. It's got nothing to do with the guys on the outside. Love belongs to you. You're the owner. See, there's Chris there. I love you, love you, love you. Now, try and stop me. Ha! Cannot stop me loving you. You cannot? Yeah, good looking man. Right? Can it stop me loving him? Why? Because it's mine. I own it. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, your friend positioned love on the outside. She thinks it's something that needs to be given to her. Now, look at that. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Now you know why they pay the money, Jenny, innit? Because you gotta have the flexibility of mind. Now that one's a nice one. Take it to her, you know, and really just shake her up a bit. Take her a few, like there's probably a website called blindmenwantadate.com or something like that,
Mm.
right? Or, you know, gay dog society. Oh, I know somebody that might be able to get her fixed up. Right, she's on this call. That's right, Jeanette. Right.
I only work with kids.
Oh,
I wouldn't be a problem.
well, maybe they got blind parents. You never know. But can you see what I mean, Jenny? You've got a chance,
Yeah.
there, opportunity to tear down the false belief. But
Yeah.
because she believes love is something that's given. You see what I mean? She
Yeah.
hasn't given it. No. Love begins and ends inside you. You see what I mean? Now,
Yeah.
If you look at how many cases there are of stalkers, you know, men and women stalk each other, right? So say, look, we've had a nice time, but now I'd like to get on with the rest of my life. Oh, please, and a text and a following, you know, or stalking, yeah? Now, stalking is just that. So if you know what's your friend called, we'll call her Brenda, right? So if
Yeah.
Brenda was on this call now, I'd say, so Brenda, you're a bit of well, you're deceased. What was his name? Brian. So was Brian a stalker? And she going, no. I said, well, he sounds like a stalker. I mean, he's dead now and he's still stalking you.
Sick.
You were like, slap.
Uh,
You cannot undo a sentence like that, can you?
no.
You'll still be laughing about that in years to come. You'll have a little mad moment and you'll remember that little line and you'll chuckle.
Yeah.
Yeah. And whoever's sitting next to you will look at you chuckling and say, oh, what was that profound statement? And you look back and you go, oh, what's for lunch?
Oh,
But can you see what I mean? If you're willing to have that, a child, you know, I do have a child's mind, which makes life simpler. And by having that childlike mind, it allows me to say the things that need to be said.
yeah.
Whereas adulthood comes along and the cat gets your tongue and you sit there and you wish you had said it. And then you use it later on to bash yourself about the head with.
Yeah.
Eh?
What stops you saying it then? Bloody family rules.
Family rules.
Yeah.
What one of the biggest sort of complaint, or what's it, complaint? I don't know. People would say, you know, oh, I could always tell when my wife had been on one of Matt's trainings. I say, how's that? Well, she'd come back with and use many expletives and refuse to do the housework.
Come back and how?
Just you know, it's about just being able to open up and be yourself. Imagine, right? If your New Year's resolution, right? What if you make your New Year's resolution, yeah, just to have fun? Just, I mean, she'll tell you, I wake up, you know, almost every day and I sing, right? She doesn't like it. I'm not freaking bothered. My singing is pitch perfect to me.
Yeah.
All that matters to me. Right now, if you were walking along and you heard a little 3-year-old singing a Bob or Black Sheep or Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, would you stop that 3-year-old and say, stop that singing because you're not on pitch? But is that what you do?
No.
Or would you smile and encourage them?
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, I am from the home that was smiling and encouraged. There you go. So it's my mum and dad's fault.
Okay.
But it's never too late to have the best mum and dad in the world. You see what I mean? Because the mum and dad you think you have aren't real. They're only figments of your imagination. You can make them extraordinary human beings. That's up to you. There's nothing they can do to make them appear any more special to you. Do you see what I mean? Because they're just individuals wandering across this planet, doing the best they can. And the moment you allow them to be amazing, everything will change for you. Yeah, Mahatma Gandhi, yeah, be the change you want to see in the world. Set your parents free. Just a thought. Since we're chatting family rules, chapter 4 in 2004. Right, time. Yep, that's the time. That's the ticket. Hudson does it again. 8 o'clock on the dot. Well, oh, and we'll be announcing the winner. We have a winner because we did it. I'll put it in the Facebook group thing. Yeah, we have a winner. We actually did have a winner. Yeah, who could not come along, so we had to pull it again, and we got another winner. So exciting! And we did a little video thing. So Scott's busy sorting it for us, and that'll ping up in the Facebooky thing, and we'll put it in the newsletter. If you're not on the newsletter, why not? Anyway, happy 2024. See you soon.